camera bag is your toolkit. Each lens has its own personality and will tell your story in a different way. Look at award-winning press photographs or flip through a National Geographic magazine. Most all the wonderful images you'll see are taken with a wide-angle lens. This is because it's so impactful for telling a story. If you're shooting on a camera, I'm talking about lenses between the range of 17 to 35mm. And if you're shooting on your smartphone, this will be either your ultra-wide or your wide standard lens. The wide-angle lens is so called because of its wide angle of view. It gives you shots packed full of detail. Generally, everything will be in sharp focus throughout your whole frame. You'll also get loads of perspective, as it exaggerates the difference in size between subjects in the foreground and background. Objects close to the lens appear abnormally large, and those in the distance will look much smaller and further away. I love using this lens. I'm a location photographer, so it's perfect for placing someone in their environment and capturing the relationship between subject and surroundings. In general, bring your subject forward from the background so they don't get lost in the detail, and keep them near the centre of the frame, otherwise they may appear wider than they are. The wide-angle lens is also exciting for capturing landscapes. It's not as easy to use as a telephoto lens, as we have a larger area to fill. We have to make sure there is interest throughout the whole image. You need a strong foreground subject and definite middle and background areas. Also, be careful to avoid boring negative space or a sky that isn't very exciting. The final advantage of shooting with the wide-angle lens is that it will let you shoot in a confined space. This is very useful, but you may find that if you're shooting from close-up, that walls or other vertical lines start to bend into shot, so you might want to correct that in post-production. When you buy a camera, it often has a standard lens. If it's a DSLR, it's normally 50mm. Alternatively, if you're using your smartphone, this will be your wide standard lens. The reason the manufacturer has chosen this lens and why it feels so natural to use is that it has a similar angle of view to your own eye, which is between 50 to 60 degrees. It's sometimes known as a tweener in the photographic world. In other words, it's between a wide angle and telephoto lens, but I think it's worth much more than that. It's such a great normal lens. And using a 50mm at eye height is as near to true life as you can get. So it's great for general travel and people photography. You don't need to get as close as you would with a wide-angle lens, so you can step back and give people a bit of space, and this can make a world of difference to your image. Finally, you have quite a lot of control over just how much of your photograph is in focus by opening or closing your aperture at this focal length, so I really give the standard lens a thumbs up. If you're shooting on a camera, the telephoto lens you'll likely be using will be somewhere between 70 to 400mm. If you're photographing on your smartphone, it's your portrait or telephoto lens. Your telephoto lens is probably the most impactful of all your lenses. It will allow you to photograph a faraway scene or take a portrait that blurs away the background. I love to use my telephoto for landscape photography. It's a personal thing, but it's great to see contrast and patterns emerge when I photograph a scene from a long way away. Unlike the wide-angle lens that gives you a lot of detail, the telephoto lens compresses perspective, so only a small part of your image will be in sharp focus, and the rest will be a wash of colour and light. It's the most flattering lens for portraits, because you're shooting from a distance, and the face will look more proportional and youthful. Also, you're not invading your subject's space, so they will move around more freely and you can catch a slice of real life. The telephoto is also the lens I use in the studio, both for full length or close-up. I love this picture, it makes me smile. It was part of a shoot entitled, "I Look Like My Dog." I think the fact I use a telephoto lens which has flattened the perspective makes the image far more simple and effective. I hope I'm showing you that using a telephoto can really lift your portfolio. Don't save it for special occasions. It's a great lens to tell a story. It's also fantastic for sports and wildlife. It brings you to the thick of the action while keeping your distance. Remember, when you're shooting, stay in one place and use the lens to follow the action like you're stalking your prey. Don't run after the image, wait for the shot to happen and click your shutter. The final thing I'll say about telephoto lenses is that they're also great for doing group shots, either straight on or from above. So everyone is on an even plane. People at the edges of your frame don't get distorted like they would if you were using a wide-angle lens. So you've learned about the 3 lenses that are the right tools for the job. Give them all a try and don't forget to shoot from different angles.